Hello again everyone, and welcome to another one of my reviews. Today I'm going to be reviewing and talking a little bit about my all-time favourite movie. Can you guess what it is? Nah. And that is 1975's Jaws. Now I absolutely love this film. As I said, this is my all-time favourite movie. This and the second one I can watch back to back and think, wow, fantastic. The best shark movie you're ever going to have. Every other shark movie that's ever come out pays homage to this, I think, because, yeah, this just made shark. I mean, I think we had shark movies before this, but there's never been and there'll never be another shark movie like this one. Just the best, and it always will be. So yeah, this stars Roy Scheider as Chief Brody, Robert Shaw as Quint, the shark hunter, and Richard Dreyfuss as Matt Hooper, the Oceanographic Institute. Well, that's what he works for anyway. Like he's also one that works and knows a lot about sharks. Also stars Lorraine Gary, Murray Hamilton. Lorraine Gary played Chief Brody's wife, and Murray Hamilton played the mayor, which chooses not to believe him in this movie until it's too late. But yeah, what else can I say about this movie? Like, well, I've got quite a lot to say about this movie because it's fantastic. Some of the best lines in this movie, like it's a 20-footer, 25, 3 tons of him. And obviously the one we all know, you're gonna need a bigger boat. But yeah, absolute great. Like I say, it starts off with, talk a little bit about it. It starts off with woman goes swimming at the beginning, like, and she's attacked. Chrissy Watkins, she's called, like, and attacked and killed, which is one of the greatest scenes in the beginning of any movie. Absolute terrifying. She's getting thrashed about. Oh, it hurts. It hurts. Well, it's like, yeah. Not to be funny, but I think it's gonna hurt. You're getting eaten by a 25-foot shark, torn apart. How they did that is very interesting because they had her on wires and they were moving her around, and they were actually running around on the beach, which is good how they did it, but she was in pain a lot with it because obviously, like I said, this movie was made in 1975, not 1995, not 2005, whatever, you know what I mean? So they only had certain ways they could do it, so they were pulling her about and she was in a lot of pain with it. But they managed to get the scene done, and like I say, it's one of the greatest scenes in a movie. But yeah, oh, I forgot to mention, it's also directed by the great Steven Spielberg, who also directed awesome movies like Close Encounters of a Third Kind, Jurassic Park, Schindler's List, so on. You know what I mean? Proper good director. But yeah, the shark in this, the name Bruce, I think after, oh, I can't remember who. Is it Steven Spielberg's, someone that's, I can't remember properly, sorry about it. Sorry about that, everybody, but someone that Steven Spielberg knew, I think it was his lawyer, I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, please, everybody, but I should know that because I've seen this film God knows how many times, you know what I mean? It's, yeah. Like I say, it's my all-time favourite movie. But yeah, I also absolutely, I'm going to talk about some of the other scenes in this film as well that I'll absolutely love. And one of the other scenes that I love is when the two idiots go hunting for it, like $3,000 buys a lot of beef. I think that's what he says. And oh, I hope this catches something because this is my wife's holiday roast. And he chucks it out. Hey, he's taking it. He's taking it. And he's taking it out with the sea, into the sea like the shark. And it pulls the thing they stood on, the deck, whatever it is, and one of them goes into the water. And he's like, swim, Charlie, swim. Luckily he survives, which it'd have been more fun if he'd have been eaten, you know what I mean? A few more people getting eaten. I mean, not complaining with who gets eaten in this film and how the kill scenes are, because they are pretty cool for a movie that was done in 1975, you know. We get a poor dog getting eaten. You don't see it, it's off camera. Pip-It. May he rest in peace, poor thing. You just see his wooden thing that his owner's chucking out for him, floating in the water. Then you get the Alex Kinter kill, which is one of the most awesome kills ever in a shark movie. He's swimming out on his raft, and the shark comes up. And there was a deleted scene to this. I think they filmed it, like, but didn't put it in the movie at all. And the shark comes out and slams down on him. But they didn't use it because they said it were too violent, which, yeah, I mean, say that's too violent, but the scene we get where the kid's going up and down, the blood's pissing out, and he's ah! And it pulls him under and he screams, and you hear the crunch when it pulls him under. It's like, and that's not violent, you know what I mean? Yeah, you get what I mean, everyone, you know what I mean? It's, yeah. So I don't think there'd have been a problem with that scene, but anyway. Then you've got the scene later on in the movie where the guy's on the rowing boat and he's training the kids swimming, I think, and for the merit badges or something like that. I think that's what it is. And one of them happens to be Chief Brody's son, Michael. And it bangs the boat and the guy falls in and it bites his leg off, and you see it float down to the bottom of the ocean. Here's one for you all, like, that probably already know about that, like, but it shows it bite his leg off and the guy has no shoes on, but the leg that floats to the bottom of the sea has a shoe on. But tit for tat, because, like I say, I'm never going to say out wrong about this movie. I'll always love it, and I'll always watch it and enjoy it for what it is. My lass loves it as well. I think she saw it before she was with me, like, but since she's been with me, she absolutely loves it and wants to watch it just about as much as I do, if not more even. And that's crazy, because I'm Jaws crazy, you know what I mean? As you've seen in some of my other videos with my collection of my sharks and all that, and my puzzles and everything. Yeah, I've got a lot of Jaws stuff. But anyway, going back to that scene in this film, that's another one where they filmed a different part for it. Like, it's holding the guy in its mouth, and he's got hold of Chief Brody's son, Michael, and it's pushing him forward. And they actually filmed this scene, and it's going forward with him in its mouth. And as it's going forward, he goes under and lets go of the kid as he goes under. But they didn't put that in the movie because they said that was too violent as well. But again, how was that too violent? That's not really bloody, that scene. For those that haven't seen it, you can find it on YouTube. In fact, the special features of this, The Shark is Still Working, The Impact and Legacy of Jaws, which is an awesome documentary, and it's on this, and it shows it on that, like. But most documentaries to Jaws, you see, it does talk about that scene, and they say, oh, it was too bloody, so they took it out, and it's like, no, I don't think it was too bloody at all. You know what I mean? The scene we got, I'd have said, but more bloody, because it's the first glimpse you see of the shark. You don't see it properly, but you see its face come out, and the top end of its face and its teeth bite into him, and then the next scene you see his leg float down with the blood, and you know, the skin and the all sorts around it, you know what I mean? So I'd say that were more bloody, but anyway, 1975, they were a bit more, you know. Yeah, but, and then obviously we got the end scene, the last kill, Quint's death, and the shark comes up, slams onto the boat, and pulls the boat up, and Quint slides down into the shark's mouth and says, ah! Sorry everyone, but the shark clams down on him and it's swimming him side to side, and the blood's coming out of his mouth and round his waist. I'd have said that's a really bloody scene, you know what I mean? But they kept that in, and that's cool as hell. Obviously, if you look right again, I'm not slating down Jaws at all. I'm just, you know, talking about this movie because I love it, and every scene in it is fantastic. But you can see the little cushion under him, where he's laying on the cushion, because obviously the teeth from the shark would have probably pierced him otherwise, like. And the other teeth in his belly is all makeup and all that, obviously, but in the film it looks ace. And he's holding onto the shark and he's slamming into it with his machete into its face, side of its face. You see the blood coming out of it, and then the next minute it just bites down onto him and he spits the blood out. Again, a bloody scene, and then drags him under. Which is different because the book, for those that don't know, Quint's death is totally different to that. He gets a harpoon caught wrapped round his legs, his leg, I think, and is dragged under the sea and drowned, which is not as good. You know, it's yeah. I think we got a better death scene in this one, like in the film, where it's bit round his waist. It's just more spectacular, and you see the full frontal of the shark bang down on the boat, which is absolutely great. But then a few scenes before that, where he goes, oh, I can go slow ahead, come on down and chomp some of this shit, and the shark just jumps out and makes Chief Brody jump back. And then that's what leads to the scene we all well know, you're gonna need a bigger boat. But yeah, then you've got the end, obviously, where he climbs the pole. And well, just before that scene, the shark busts through the window and it's got the pieces of meat hanging off its teeth. And you see the tanker in its mouth. Well, you don't see the tanker in its mouth. If Chief Brody throws a tanker in its mouth and it's thrashing about, and then it pulls back, full frontal of the shark. Obviously, yeah, a lot of people now would say, oh, we can do better now with sharks, you know, CGI and all, but no. No, I've heard rumours that they want to do this, redo this and make it CGI, and it's like, no, please don't do that. If anything, with me being a diehard Jaws fan, make a 5th movie. Give us a Jaws resurfaced, you know, call it Jaws 5 resurfaced. I mean, I'm going to talk about that in a minute actually, and tell you what my idea for it is. But anyway, yeah, back to the scene where Chief Brody's on the pole, climbs up the pole, and obviously the shark comes out and he's stabbing it in the face. And again, you can see the scraped paint bits, the white bits on the shark's head, because obviously it's a big rubber shark, but it couldn't have been done any better, honestly. It just worked, honestly worked. Obviously, a lot of the scenes in this movie, the shark didn't work, as they say in the documentaries, you know, the shark is not working, the shark is not working, so they had to film around it. But anyway, one of my greatest scenes in this is the end, where the shark's swimming towards him and it's chewing on the barrel and he's shooting it, and it's like, show me the tank, blow up. And he's, you know, shooting at it and he's missing it, then hitting it and missing it, and the blood's coming out of its mouth again. That wasn't too violent, but they left that in the film, you know what I mean? There we go, but but he's coming towards him, and luckily, I think it's his last shot, and smile, you son of a bitch, boom, and the water blows up, and the guts and the blood and everything wets him through, and it's and you see it floating down what's left of the shark to the bottom of the ocean. But again, the book, that was totally different in the book, the kill, because obviously it makes out that the shark, from all the wounds and the bullet shots, whatnot, that they've done in the last bit of the book, it dies to its wounds. So Chief Brody's on the boat, on the pole, and he's swimming towards him, and he's holding out the spear, and supposedly it just swings, draws the spear, stands into the spear, and dies to its, dies of its wounds, and falls to the bottom of the ocean with a spear in its mouth or face, whatever. But yeah, not as spectacular as Smiley Son of a Bitch, but still pretty cool, but if they remade it, again, don't CGI the shark, please. Do not CGI the shark. I think more Jaws fans out there, like me, would agree with me when I say, if you CGI the shark, you're gonna fucking kill it, and you don't want to do that. Please don't. But, if they put that in, put a lot of the scenes that are in the book as well, show us Ben Gardner's kill, because obviously you don't see Ben Gardner get killed in this, you just see the aftermath of what's his boat, and the eye comes out, and that made me jump out my skin when I was a kid. But yeah, add that in, and add some of the other kills and all that. Add the story maybe with Hooper having an affair with Chief Brody's wife, which is also from the book. You don't get that in this film, which is fair enough. But again, like I say, if you want to redo it, do it like that, you know what I mean? So you're not making it scene for scene like this one, you know what I mean? Because again, you can't redo this. Absolute fantastic movie. The greatest movie ever made, in my eyes, like I keep saying. Keep repeating myself now, everyone, but can't help myself because I just love the film. But here's something else that, unless you're my age, because, I'm getting old now, 45 next, some people might say, oh, that's not old, but yeah, I feel old at times. But I remember having this on VHS. There you go, VHS video, when I were 10, 11-year-old, maybe a little bit older, I'm not sure. But I remember the certificate, you see it's a 12 there, a closer look. On the Blu-ray, this is the Blu-ray, sorry. On the VHS, it was a PG. Just like Jaws 2 was. The first two movies were a PG, and then Jaws 3 and 4 was 15. Not 12, 15. I remember the cases, I can remember the video cases clearly to this day. There was 15s, but these were PGs. I remember it, I had it on video, and it had a thing going across the front, like a saying she was the first, with a woman, Chrissy Walkins, in like silver writing. But yeah, I no longer have that video. That probably worth a bit of money now if I still had that, but you'd probably still be able to find it somewhere on eBay or something like that for a decent enough price. But yeah, I'm going on a bit about it now, but as I say, I love Jaws. I really do love Jaws. In fact, I'll show you something else as well if I haven't already shown you. Just bear with me, everybody. But I do. You can see it. I have the Jaws tattoo on my leg. There. Can you see it, everyone? Yeah, I've had that a few years now. And that's a good tattoo. I'm glad I got that done, because I was contemplating at the time to having the Jaws 2 tattoo, but I think having that one is the best version. and it's one of my favourite tattoos. I kind of wish now I'd have had it in colour, but again, tit for tat, it's good enough where it is, and yeah, I'd say it's one of my favourite tattoos. But yeah, Jaws, again, film I highly recommend to those that haven't seen it, because I know there is people out there that's never seen this film, and that just shocks me every time, because I've spoken to a couple of people and I've said, oh, you know, my favourite film's Jaws. I'm like, what's Jaws? It's like, excuse me, what's Jaws? Really? Honestly, you don't know what Jaws is? Wow. But yeah, and then you see people that's never seen it that watch it and think, wow, that is an awesome film. So yeah, there we go. That is Jaws, absolute fantastic. But yeah, this is my Blu-ray of it. Like, not much about this Blu-ray. It don't come with much. No posters or all like that. Like, but the special features in this are really good. Like I say, you've got your impact and legacy of Jaws. You've got your making of Jaws. You've got front set photos and all that. Yeah, you've got all sorts on this. Another thing to do with Jaws as well that I've always wanted to do, again with being a diehard Jaws fan, is I always wanted to go on the Jaws ride at Universal Studios, and shut it down years ago. I think the other place you can go on it now is Japan, so I really want to go on it one day, you know what I mean? Don't care how cheesy it is, I've seen videos of it, it just looks awesome and it'd be fantastic. But anyway, I said I'm gonna, before I go, I said I was gonna say my idea for Jaws 5, didn't I? Jaws 5 Resurfaced, which is what I'd call it. I'd set it, I'd keep it in the same continuity as the other films, and I'd set it probably 10 years maybe after Jaws of Revenge, and I'd have someone playing an older version of Fear. I'd bring back Michael, what's the guy who played Michael in Jaws the Revenge? Oh god, I can't remember his name, sorry. But the guy from The Last Starfighter and Halloween 2. Yeah, oh my god, I cannot remember his name, that is annoying. Sorry about that everyone, but yeah, I'd bring him back for a cameo, like maybe a scene or two, like. I'd bring Jake back, Mario Van Peebles, I'd bring him back. Like I said, this is my idea for the film, not, you know, any other people that's got the idea of the film, that's yours, but this is mine. And I'd also bring Richard Dreyfuss back and cast him as Hooper again. But I'd give him a death, you know, I'd kill him off in it. Later in the movie, towards the end, like he can last to the end, but he can be the, you know, because unfortunately we can't bring Roy Scheider back. He probably wouldn't want to come back if he was still alive. May he rest in peace, because the guy was an absolute legend. But, you know, if he was still alive, I'd try, you know, I would try, because he just played the part awesome in this film as Chief Broder, and he's a fucking hero. And I will be reviewing Jaws 2 and Jaws 3 and Jaws 4 in the future, and like I say, Jaws 2 is a fucking hero in that as well. But yeah, again, not much else to say about this film apart from how fantastic it is, and it's never safe to go back into the water. That's a tagline from the book, the recent release of the book, which is cool. And I'd use that tagline actually for Jaws Resurfaced. I probably have about, you know, 7, maybe 8 kills in the movie. I would not CGI the shark. I'd make sure the shark would be, you know, a big rubber thing like it is in the first 4 movies. Big mechanical thing. Because they can still do it, because they did a movie not so long ago called Beast of War, and they used mechanical sharks for that, and they look fantastic. So they could still do it. But yeah, anyway, sorry about that, I'm getting off course, but yeah, back to Jaws, and yeah. To me, this is the best Steven Spielberg movie. I don't think there's any better. You know, Jurassic Park is awesome, but Jaws to me is just the best. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody else could have been better to direct the film than him. And I don't know who they'd get to direct it if they did a remake. But again, I'm going to say it again, do not CGI the shark, please. I beg you, do not CGI the shark. But yeah, anyway, that's Jaws, everybody. And that's my, you know, review and talk a little bit. Well, talk a lot because I had a lot to say about it. Jaws. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe. And until the next time, keep geeking out. Fantastic soundtrack as well. Thanks for watching.